All right, welcome in. Hey, Let's Talk Sports, YouTube and podcast. Check me out on Spotify, wherever you get your podcast from. We are doing a college football prediction show. Ohio State is on a bye week, so we're going to just do some college football pick'ems. We're going to get right to it. Miami taking on Louisville. It's going to be at Louisville. Now, Louisville's 4-2. Miami is undefeated at 6-0. They look pretty good. So Miami comes off a bye among three ACC squads at 2-0. They're pursuing first place Clemson. So the key matchups here, Miami's top-ranked offense averages nearly 584 yards and 48 points per game. Did you hear that? This is an offense that averages 584 yards and 48 points a game. Now the Hurricanes are rushing 183.8 yards and have scored at least 39 points against the three Power 4 opponents. Now Louisville's tackling is not very good. They struggle in tackling. They have created acceptable explosion plays. They give up plays. Louisville on their defense is not doing all that great. So Miami is probably licking their chops for this game on ABC, and it is at noon and or ESPN Plus if you have it. So players to watch for Miami: the quarterback, Cam Ward. He's a Heisman hopeful candidate. He leads the nation in offense per game and points responsibly, and is tied for the FBS lead with 20 touchdown passes. And he's number 2 with 2,219 passing yards, and has thrown at least 300 yards in all 6 games of the season. So Louisville's defense is going to have their hands full with just Cam Ward alone. And Louisville, players to watch for Louisville: the running back Isaac Brown. He's rushed for 508 yards, and he's a feature back, the first freshman with 3 100-yard games since Lamar Jackson. He had 5 in 2015. So he's coming off a 20-carry game, 146 yards and 2 touchdowns against Virginia, and ranks 8th in the ACC with 84.7 yards a game. Now the teams ranked in the top 6 of the AP 25 at the time of the game are 23-4 this season against unranked opponents. So Miami is 141-24 all time as a top 6 team, but only 1-2 in its last 3 such games. So Miami went 9-0-1 in the first 10 series meetings, but is 2-4 against Louisville since. So at least Louisville has that for them, that they're 2-4. So the Cardinals haven't allowed a third quarter touchdown this season and have outscored opponents 59-12 in the third quarter. So looking forward to that one and seeing if Louisville can actually stop this high-powered Miami offense with Cam Ward at the helm. Now the over-under, we'll get to that in a second, but we already looked at Cam Ward. Now Brown, we've looked at the rushing, and Martinez, they're going to be battling with each other, but Martinez doesn't look like he's rushed. They had 66 carries with only 292 yards, 5 touchdowns. So it's going to be at L&N Federal Credit Union Stadium in Louisville, 64 degrees at kickoff. Miami is undefeated. Louisville has lost against Notre Dame in South Bend, 31-24 back in September, and they lost to SMU 34-27 just a couple weeks ago. So Louisville coming off some tough losses. Miami obviously undefeated. Cam Ward is staying undefeated, and they're going to win this game. The over-under is 6.5 right now on ESPN Bet, and the spread is only 5 points for Miami. But I think Miami is going to cover, and I think it's going to be a big blowout there in Louisville. Unfortunately for you Louisville Cardinal fans, that sucks because Miami is going to dominate, and they're going to win big. Cam Ward's going to have another 400-plus passing yard day. All right, going to the next game. The next game is Alabama versus Tennessee. Now, this game is going to be coming on right after the Miami and Louisville game. So you can just stay on ABC. Now, this is going to be on ABC. So I think it's right afterwards. Alabama is number 7. Tennessee is number 11. and Alabama's going in to Tennessee, and it's going to be a pretty nice day. Very sunny, 71 degrees there in Knoxville. That's how you say it. It's not Knoxville, it's Knoxville. Neyland Stadium. All right. Now this is a college football playoff future for both programs. It could be. Alabama, if I think they lose again, they might be out of it. That's what I think. But the key matchups here is the Tennessee Volunteers quarterback, Nico. I'm not going to try to pronounce that last name, but Nico was sacked 3 times against Florida with Tennessee Lance Hurd and John Campbell Jr. So they're struggling to protect the quarterback. Tennessee's offensive line needs to protect Nico at all times, please. Alabama had 4 sacks in a win against South Carolina. Players to watch. Alabama, the quarterback, Jalen Milroe. He's been intercepted 3 times in the past 2 games. Not making good decisions. So the quarterback play, not really the quarterback play on this one, but the Tennessee offensive line is what we need to watch. And Jalen Milroe, can he make the good decisions against Tennessee's Volunteers corners? So Tennessee, when the Vols offense functions at a high level, Dylan Sampson, the running back, is picking up tough yards between the tackles. So since last year's Citrus Bowl win over Iowa, Sampson has rushed for over 100 yards in 6 of his 7 games. He already has 15 rushing touchdowns so far this season. This game has been called the 3rd Saturday in October since 1939, and it is a rivalry game. Will be the just 22nd game with both teams ranked in the top 20. Tennessee's looking for back-to-back home wins over Alabama since 2006. Now, Keenan Pili, the linebacker, he's got a torn ACL, and he's not going to be in. In each of his last 2 games, Tennessee trailed 3-0 at half. Alabama coach Kalen DeBoer is 13-2 across 15 career matchups with teams ranked in the AP Top 25. Now, Alabama's wide receiver Ryan Williams has just 7 catches with 114 yards in the past 2 games. Now, Tennessee's defense is ranked in the top 10 in 12 major categories nationally. So look for Tennessee's defense to gobble up some balls and stop the quarterback Jalen Milroe, and hopefully he makes some bad decisions. Now we're going to take a look at the Milroe. Like I said, Sampson, Miller. Look for Williams to get open for Milroe. He's got 576 yards and 6 touchdowns so far this season. Big time moneymaker with the ticket prices there in Neyland Stadium, $306. Now we didn't talk about, but we see it all over the place. 40-35 loss at Vanderbilt. And Paul Weizenbaum said that this was probably the worst loss ever in college football history. Granted, the Appalachian State against Michigan. I had to bring that one up. Sorry, my brother. So again, this is at 3:30, 71 degrees, really nice out there down in Neyland Stadium in Tennessee, in Knoxville. Remember, it's Knoxville. All right, the spread. Alabama's only favored by 3. Over-under is 56.5. They are in Tennessee. They're in Neyland Stadium. It's going to be sunny. It's going to be a perfect day for some football, and Tennessee Volunteers are going to get the win. They're going to win by at least 6. Tell me now. Tennessee's going to stop Milroe in the passing, and they can't run the football that well, and Tennessee can stop them because Tennessee's defense is stout, and they're looking to stop. And there it is. Give me that. Money's money's. All right, the next game here is going to be the Big Ten matchup. Michigan versus Illinois. And this is going to be also at 3:30. This is going to be on CBS and or Paramount Plus if you got it. But Michigan, 4-2. They're 24th. Illinois, 5-1. They're 22nd. Now, Brett Bielema is looking pretty good there at Illinois in the Fighting Illini. So I'm kind of anxious to see what they do here. And they will be at home against Michigan. And Michigan doesn't look very good. Illinois, all they have to do is stop the run, and they should get the dub. They're in Champaign, Illinois, 72 degrees, and it's going to be sunny. A really nice day on Saturday, tomorrow, for all these games. I don't think it's going to be raining on any of these games at Memorial Stadium there in Champaign. So, Michigan is 24th. Had a school record 27-game Big Ten winning streak. They got it snapped back on October 5th against Washington. And they lost 27-17. The Wolverines, they lost a big lead. I believe they were winning, and then Washington came back and beat them. But Wolverines has had 11 straight road games. So they're traveling a lot. So it's been a little wear and tear on that Michigan Wolverines team. But Illinois, they're 22nd in the country, led a one-win Purdue team 27-3 in the third quarter last week, fell behind in the final minute of regulation, and rallied for a 50-49 overtime victory. So what's that tell you about the team? Illinois fighting Illini. They are fighting Illini. That's what I'm saying. So Illini are 11-11-1 and ranked versus ranked games at home. So 50-50, it's a toss-up game, but haven't won since beating Ohio State back in 1991, and I didn't want to bring that up. And I don't really remember that when I was like 7 years old. Anyway, so they've lost 6 straight ranked versus ranked games against Michigan at home on the road. So there's a good stat for you for Michigan fans. Illinois, the Fighting Illini, I said Brett Bielema, he wants his team's fans to bring a ruckus atmosphere. So here's a quote. Quote, "This place should be rocking and going crazy with 2 ranked teams going at it. When we go to Michigan, we have to prepare for the crowd noise there. I really want someone to prepare for the crowd noise here. That's when we've arrived." End quote. Now the quarterback play. Illinois, Luke Altmaier, who has emerged as one of the Big Ten's top QBs in his second year as a starter. He threw a career-high 379 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, and rushed for 60 yards and a touchdown against Purdue. He's done 14 touchdown passes so far this season. Now, quote, this is what he said, "At the end of the day, it's about every guy doing their job," and that is correct. The receiver, Pat Bryant, praised Altmaier's leadership. This is what he said, "I had a sad face because we weren't playing good football, but I never saw Luke's expression change. He kept telling us to keep our composure. He had faith in us." So the Fighting Illini taking on Michigan. Now the Wolverines have turned a third starting quarterback this season. They've gone through 3 of them. It's a Michigan quarterback carousel. The 7th-year player, I don't know how the 7th-year player has, but Jack Tuttle will get to start. He was at Utah as a freshman in 2018, didn't play, was used sparingly in the 4 years at Indiana before he joined the Wolverines this last year. Our guys call him Uncle Buck, is what Sharon Moore said. So Toto replaced Alex Orji versus Washington. It was 10 of 18 for 98 yards and a touchdown. He also had a fumble and an interception. So the quarterback play in Michigan's offense doesn't look very good. The only thing that's going for him is their running. So it's going to be another sellout crowd at Memorial Stadium. The game Saturday will be played in front of a sellout 60,670 people. So it's the second sellout of the season for Illinois. So they're doing pretty good with getting people there in the stands. Good job, Brett Bielema. The first was September 7th against number 19 ranked Kansas. This is only the second time since 2009 the Illini had 2 sold-out games in a season. So the Illini don't let scoring opportunities slip away when they reach the red zone. They're a 96% scoring percentage in the red zone, 24 of 25 with 17 touchdowns. Now Michigan's rush defense has the best run defense in the Big Ten. The Wolverines only allow 76 rushing yards a game. Illinois' offensive line coach Brett Miller calls Michigan's defensive front one of the best, if not the best, in the country. And Michigan allows 259 yards a game, the 3rd worst in the conference. So they don't allow rushing, but they do allow passing. So watch out, and that works in Illini's favor because Luke Altmaier is going to probably be tearing it up. Look for them just to pass, and look for Michigan just to run. So now we're going to be taking a look here soon at the over-unders, but Mullings for the rushing, he's stepping up. Could be a better rusher than Donovan Edwards, which is pretty crazy, but he's 589 yards and 6 touchdowns. Now Loveland, comparison to Bryant, not even close. Bryant, the wide receiver, 452 yards so far this season with 7 touchdowns to only 261 for Loveland. So I feel sorry for the wide receivers up in Michigan. It's because they're not going to get past 2. At Memorial Stadium, only $77. So that's not too bad. Michigan did come off a loss on October 5th against Washington. We just talked about that. Now, the Fighting Illini, they lost at Penn State 21-7. They got themselves destroyed. Now, Penn State looks kind of like a powerhouse. They're moving up. But anyways, we're not talking about them. But 72 degrees, like I said, it's going to be really sunny. It's going to be really nice. Check it out on CBS at 3:30. And I have the Illini. The spread is 3.5. the over-under is 44.5, so it's going to be a low-scoring defensive battle, but if Luke has anything to do with it, they want to let it fly and let it rip and score some points, and that's why I think the Illini is probably going to win by 10. I'm sorry to say that to my brother, because my brother is a Michigan fan, my sister is a Michigan fan, and all that stuff, but Illini is going to win by 10, and it's going to go over 44.5. And now, here's a word from our sponsors. Check this out. First and foremost, thank you for watching and listening to AJ Let's Talk Sports on YouTube and podcast. Check out X-Vape. Yes, X-Vape. Use the code SPOOKY. You get 10% off for shipping orders over $50. There's bestsellers such as Rofu, it's a dry herb, Mambo dry herb flower. You got Dabster editions. You got Cheech and Chong Mambo. But did you know that they can be used for a variety of other herbs and materials as well? Rob Ruckus. I cannot recommend this product enough. I've known the folks at X-Vape for a few years now, and I know they make and stand behind their quality product for people at a reasonable price as well. Check it out. Click on the link on my link tree. Click on the X-Vape. Get your 10% off. Use code SPOOKY and get you some vaping on. Georgia and Texas. This is a night game at 7:30 on ABC. Georgia goes into Austin, and it's going to be crazy. I believe they're playing in Austin. Yes, they are, because sometimes they play at AT&T as well. And it's going to be a really nice day there, too. 83 degrees, but it's going to be a little partly sunny. So Texas undefeated with Quinn Ewers. Quinn Ewers is back, by the way. And the first matchup of top 5 teams in Austin since then number 2 Texas took on Ohio State when they were number 1 back in 2006. Georgia needs a win to keep pace with the Longhorns at top of the SEC. Because I don't know if Georgia loses this one, where do they go to? Like 7 or 8? I don't know. They shouldn't fall back too far, because we didn't fall that far. And we're what 4th or 5th or something like that, Ohio State is. But the key matchup, Texas secondary versus Georgia QB Carson Beck. The Bulldogs senior is by far the best quarterback the Longhorns have faced so far this season. Texas smothered freshman starters at Mississippi State and Oklahoma the previous 2 games. So Beck is a preseason All-American. He's 18-2 as a starter, 6-2 against the top 20 opponents. So hopefully Texas's defense can start doing something against this quarterback. They got to get to him. They got to get pressure to him. They got to get his jersey dirty. So players to watch: Trevor Etienne, the running back. He's already a starter. May have a larger role in carries, with Branson Robinson will be held out after sprained his right knee in the last week's Mississippi State game when they got the win. So Etienne comes in. He's a Florida transfer. Leads Georgia with 335 yards rushing and 4 touchdowns, but he had only 11 carries with 35 yards last week. So look for Georgia to run the rock. So if you're a Georgia fan, you want Trevor Etienne to run the football to set up the pass. But any more of the spread offense, they want the pass to set up the run. I like it better when you run to set up the pass and get Carson Beck going. But Texas quarterback, we just talked about him. Quinn Ewers, he was a transfer from Ohio State, went to Texas, got his millie, and went back. But he was injured, oblique injury last week. Now he's returned again, beat Oklahoma. But even he said he has to play better than he did. So Texas will likely need him in his top form to shoot out against Beck. So it's going to be a battle, a QB battle, Quinn Ewers versus Carson Beck. That's how it's going to be. Texas is number 1 in total defense and scoring defense. Longhorns allowed just 3 touchdowns all season and give up an average of 6.33 points per game. So that's beast mode. And glad to see Texas defense starting to get going, because I want them to stop Carson Beck. The Bulldogs have the longest active streak of being ranked in the top 10 at 57 consecutive polls. It is the first regular season meeting between the Longhorns and Bulldogs since 1958. Texas won 13-8 that day despite a big fourth quarter scrambling Georgia backup quarterback Fran Tarkenton, a future Hall of Famer back that was a long time ago. Georgia's senior class is 47-3 with their only losses against Alabama. So Georgia's coach is a really good Smart. Kirby Smart's a really good guy. I like him. I just don't like Georgia because we lost against them, and it's always a constant battle. And I hope Texas gets it done in Austin. Arch Manning has the yards and has the stats But Quinn Ewers is back, so look for Quinn Ewers to start stacking up the stat board. Tickets $377 at DKR Texas Memorial Stadium. And the last time Georgia lost was at Alabama, so their Georgia loss actually looks pretty bad because Alabama just lost to Vanderbilt. So they should have dropped a little bit more than that. And Texas is undefeated, beating Oklahoma like boss mode 34-3. All right, so 83 degrees, partly sunny. Spreads 4.5 for Texas. Texas, I would say, wins by a touchdown. Over under 56.5. And give me the over. It's going to be a shootout. Beck versus Ewers, and Ewers gets the best of them because Texas defense is better than Georgia's defense. Okay, now we're going to the final one that I picked. But the Georgia-Texas is going to be one of the bigger games. But this one's going to be on Fox as well. So if you don't like Georgia at Texas at the same time, put it on Fox. Because Kansas State takes on West Virginia at 7:30 at the same time. Kansas State's 5-1. They're ranked 17th. West Virginia is 3-3. So, I mean, they're in Morgantown. It is going to be in Morgantown. So I wish I can get tickets, but I'm not going to be able to because I have to work tomorrow. But anyway, DJ Giddens to fuel Kansas State's vaunted rushing attack at West Virginia. So Kansas State's Avery Johnson had a feeling several months ago that the running back DJ Giddens was going to regularly wear down opponents, and he has been. Giddens has proven his quarterback right. The junior has 2 straight games of at least 182 yards rushing and is 4th in the nation with 786. So Giddens just last year had 1,226 yards and 10 touchdowns. So, and he's a Big 12 All-American honorable mention here. So Giddens hasn't slowed down in 2024 and is in a race with Arizona State's Cam Skadaboo, Texas Tech's Taj Brooks, and UCF's RJ Harvey for the Big 12 rushing title. So I tried to warn everybody before the season started. I told you he's a different animal, Johnson said. He's doing it week in and week out. The guy's a special man, end quote. So thanks to Giddens, the number 17 Kansas State 5-1 and 2-1 in the Big 12 is 8th in the bowl subdivisions. So it's 241 rushing yards per game and average of 6.4 yards per game. So the West Virginia Mountaineers need to stop the run. So the Mountaineers are 3-3, 2-1 in the Big 12. They have lost twice at home this season and have dropped 8 straight to ranked opponents, including 3 such matchups this season. So that's not good. But they're a dual threat quarterback. Johnson and the Mountaineers, Garrett Green, are 2 of the Big 12's top dual threat quarterbacks. So he'll have an opportunity to throw the ball this week against some of the susceptible secondaries. So watch out for the dual threat of West Virginia's offense. So Green's 382 rushing yards are first among the league's quarterbacks. But Kansas State coach Chris Kleiman has been impressed with Green since his first year start against the Wildcats back in 2022. And when he had 3 touchdown passes and ran for a 4 score in a 48-31 loss. But Johnson had 2 TD passes and scoring run last week against Colorado. It will go up against at West Virginia defense that has allowed 12 TD passes, most in the Big Ten. So West Virginia needs to clean up their defense, basically. So West Virginia, Coach Neil Brown, he believes, and the center Brandon Yates is healing from a hand injury that caused problems snapping the ball against Iowa State last week. So Brown said the injury contributed to 11 high snaps, many leading to timing issues. So Brown said Yates has got to fix it up, and we believe he will. But don't sleep on Jace Brown. So Jace Brown, focus. He had 6 receptions for 121 yards and 2 scores against Colorado, including 50-yard TD with 2:14 remaining to give the Wildcats a 31-28 win. A lot of stats and figures here for Kansas State. So I'm hoping that West Virginia, the linebacker Ty French, the transfer to West Virginia this season, compelling a school record of 34.5 sacks over 3 seasons at FCS Gardner-Webb. He's still working on getting his first for the Mountaineers. So hopefully he doubles down and gets 2 of them. So while he's still getting adjusted to the bigger size and better techniques of opposing offensive line, French's greatest challenge might be keeping up with his daughter, who turned 1 in April. So she's getting into everything, French said. So West Virginia, there's not really that many stats and figures to talk about when they're Kansas State going into Morgantown. It was just pretty much the preview of this matchup was pretty much all Kansas State offense. So West Virginia's defense needs to stop Kansas State powered offense. So, like I said, Green, he's got 1,267 yards, 8 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. He needs to play better. Hopefully, offensive line gives him a little bit more time. But look how the attempts he's got. Jeez, 90 attempts to 100. He got 90 completions to 158 attempts. That's a lot. But both of them seem that way. The Johnson, the quarterback for Kansas State, the same way, 92 149. So they're slinging the ball around all over the place. So hopefully White gets it done. But Giddens, Kansas State leans on their running game, and 786 yards so far this season, looking for a 1,000-yard year. That's going to be tough. So the tickets are only going to be $36. 65 degrees. It's going to be dark out there, and the clouds are going to be out a little bit, and the moon's going to be shining at Milan Pescar Stadium. I've actually been there. Fun fact, first tram system in the country in college football was West Virginia. And I've been over there, so seen it, been there, done that. You know what I'm saying? Bought the t-shirt. So I'm sorry, West Virginia. It is only 2.5. The spread's only 2.5, and the over-under is 55.5. So Kansas State wins by at least a field goal in Morgantown. Hopefully it's going to be a closer game than I anticipate. Hopefully West Virginia's defense can stop Kansas State's high-powered offense, and hopefully they can stop DJ Giddens with the run. Hopefully they can keep him under 100 yards, but I doubt that's going to be happening. But Kansas State wins by a field goal, and that's how you get it done. And that is it. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Hope you guys follow and subscribe on YouTube as well. Check it out on Spotify. Check it out. I want to put it on the description. And I love you guys. God bless. Tip the waitress.